Steve, I know you were disappointed after the last one. I guess did that stay with you, or how long did it take to kind of move past that?
The injury part of it was, no more than like a week. Yeah, it was tough.
The injury or the frustration?
The frustration.
Yeah. How did you move past it?
I started going to therapy, honestly. I'm a big advocate for mental health, especially in men. And, I had a lot of things that I was carrying with me for my whole life. I guess that's how, we get in a bunch of people in a cage for a profession. But, no, that was kind of the turning point. I felt like I was juggling a lot of things going on that I'd never fully dealt with. And I said, you know what? Let's figure some things out, Steve. Let's take the fight inside.
That's awesome. So in retrospect, is it almost like, hey, it was a good thing, or have you matured that far yet?
That's the thing. I think if I can build on a good thing, bad thing, it is what you decide it is. And I've decided that it was just a thing that happened. Yeah. And, it could have been much worse. There are worse things that could happen, not just in general, but to me. So it was like one of those things where after enough time had passed, I'd realized I could sit around and be depressed about it, or I could, just accept it for what it is. I had a lot of good things happen in my life, and, things like that happen sometimes.
That's awesome. Was there a push to rebook that fight, or were you having?
Initially that was what we were talking about, but when Fedor came back, everything got pushed around.
Right. So talk to me about this matchup, right? Because it's an intriguing one. Like, you get a newcomer, which is bizarre given your experience and where you are in the rankings, but it's a very accomplished newcomer. You know what I mean? Somebody that's really done some things in the sport. So what did you think when it was the name given to you?
I trained with him 3 years ago, like right before he went and he won the PFL tournament. And whenever he won and he won, we were really happy for him, really proud of him. And then he kind of disappeared there. And I guess it was, the geopolitical climate there is what held him back. So whenever I saw that Bellator had signed him, I had a feeling at some point we might have to see each other. And like I said, I was more than happy for him whenever he went out and he did his thing. But now we're gonna do our thing together.
You talk about training together. That can be just being on the same mat, or like, did you guys really get a lot of repetitions together, or how actively together did you train?
Yeah, he wasn't there long, but we got a lot of work together. And then he came with a crew of guys that had already kind of like been there. And we all got on really well. It was him, and then Rashid Yusupov, another guy who was in the bracket below him, the weight class below him. And honestly, until the pandemic and the war, they were mainstays at the gym. And then when everything went down, we didn't see or hear from them for a while. And then here we are, 3-4 years later.
So can you reflect on that time together? Like, can you take anything out of it, or do you almost hope that he's thinking you're that guy you were 3 years ago? Because I imagine that's not the case.
It's like one of those things, the farther down the rabbit hole you go, trying to go one way or the other, the more the math and the whatever, hey, he's going to do this and I'm going to do this, whatever. We're both changed. We're both different. And I'm really confident that I'm going to show up that day with the better skills.
Nice. Last thing for me, I guess, win here. What do you do? Do you call for something? Do you ask for something? Again, the rankings don't make sense here, but the matchup does. It's a big win if you win it. So do you call for somebody at the rankings? Do you call for title shots? What do you do?
No, I fight Ali Isaev on February 4th and then have beer and pizza afterwards. We see what happens.
What's going on, Steve? How you doing today?
What's up, man?
Good. All right, so, it took a little time off, but I see you definitely represent your hockey team right now. So let me just ask you a quick question. Who do you think is going to win it all this year in hockey?
Oh, absolutely the Penguins.
Okay. With that being said, seeing you doing some recent interviews with, what was his name? MMA Roasted, the comedian guy, right?
Adam Hunter, yeah. Good
Adam
buddy
Hunter.
of mine.
All right, so if you could have 3 people to walk you out to a corner and be in your specific corner, who would those 3 specific people be that's not related to MMA?
Not fighting related? I guess we'd have to go Adam Hunter. We'd have to go Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then we'd have to go, can they be in sports at all?
It could be anything else.
Vladimir Klitschko.
All right.
Had to get serious on you.
And then let me follow it up with this. Just had a tragic loss in the MMA world. What did Anthony Rumble Johnson mean to you?
Shit. Rommel was a guy that, you know, when I met him, he was at the height of his power. He was like, I mean, a fucking animal. He was everybody he fought, he was knocking them out cold. And when I met him, you know, we weren't close. We weren't even really friendly, but we were training partners. You know, I was somebody that I think he counted on to give him good work whenever he had a fight coming up. And I was talking about mental health earlier, and you know, like the things that we go through day to day. He was a guy that I think he had a lot going on in his head and in his heart. And whenever he had stepped away and come back, I had seen a positive change in him. And whenever he came back, I think that camaraderie, that fraternity, the friendship that I was yearning for had kind of filled itself in. You know, he was somebody that I could just tell liked himself so much more, liked the sport so much more. And just to close, it was really special that I got to share some of my career with him.
Yeah, that's a good thing right there. A lot of people don't get that moment, and you know, it's definitely living on through you. So I'm guaranteed, you know, he's up there smiling down on you.
I hope so.
Hey, Steve, right here. So it looks like I've seen that you've had a great training camp, putting in a lot of work at Kill Cliff, putting a lot of work in with Linton Vassell. What can you say about this camp, and how are you feeling going into fight night? You know.
Yeah, I worked my fucking ass off, dude. That's what I have to say about it. I was killing myself every day. And then I just, like I said, this is somebody I trained with before, and, you know, I knew everything that came with having a win over him. I knew everything that would come with that would bring, and I was just really looking forward to capitalize on the opportunity. So I made the most of it in training camp, and I think it's going to show on Saturday.
What's going on, Steve?
What's up?
The psychology behind fighting somebody that you've trained before, do you like that? Is this the first time that this has happened for you?
I've in the amateurs, I fought a couple guys I trained with, and not quite on the level that I trained with this guy, but guys that I'd sparred with semi-regularly, and then I ended up fighting them, you know. I don't know, because it's like one of those things, like, it's like one of those, again, like I feel like the more people think about it and try to justify to themselves, you know, what happened in the gym, you know, the more they end up going somewhere that isn't productive come time to compete. So like I said, for me, it was really just about working my ass off in camp and facing a guy that I don't really know any more about than any of my other opponents.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Steve. He mentioned Lynn Vassell. I wanted to ask about him. Has he been a good influence on you? He's a veteran. He's been through this. Been through a lot of stuff. What can you tell me about Lynn and how it was like training with him?
Lynn's one of my best friends, like my big brother. You know, the number one thing I look forward to, especially about getting ready for a fight and having a guy of Linton's caliber in my camp, is not just obviously the skill benefit I get, but also, you know, like the positivity and the support I get from having somebody like him. Linton's been absolutely instrumental in my career.
Of course, there's a certain confidence that comes with being undefeated, but do you carry a certain sense of pride being someone that finishes fights, 100% finish rate? Do you have a sense of pride being someone that gives the fans what they want to see, finishes out there?
I'll be honest with you, we just did Brennan Ward, and I heard him say he's the only guy with 10 plus wins, all finishes, and I was like, yeah. But but it just occurred to me that he probably means 10 wins in Bellator, all finishes. Yeah. No, I'll be honest with you, it's inconsequential for me. I really just work as hard as I possibly can in the gym, and it's obviously nice and it's comforting and it's what's the word reassuring, if you want to say that, to know that, okay, well, the things that I do, they work. But you know, like once it's all said and done, I'm really looking forward to like make whatever it is better. You know, if I knock somebody out in a minute, I want to have done it in 59 seconds, and the next time I want to have, if I submitted somebody with a Kimura, I want to submit them with, you know, whatever, a flying omoplata or something stupid like that. You know, I'm always looking to make my fighting as effective as humanly possible, so that whenever the fight's over, whether it's decision, finish, whatever, it's as decisive as humanly possible.
And last question on a more serious note. There is a correct answer. Who had a more successful career, Sidney Crosby or Alexander Ovechkin?
Who has more Stanley Cup visits to their town?
I don't cover hockey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.